All right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with.
My proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions, respectfully brings to you the 74th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I'm your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics, and across the way is nobody because it's just me today. Danny J. Quick is out at a convention. I don't even know the name of the convention, but hopefully he's having a good time selling a bunch of books. So I am here to bring you this episode, and I forgot where I am. Hold on. I'm here to bring you this episode to help you find your next favorite comic. Now, we are live on the Age to Geekdoms Network via Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you're listening and watching us live, thank you for your support. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review our podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger and better audience. Speaking of that, which I don't know how Danny did this, but the Ace Blade Kickstarter is not on. Why is that popping up? What is going on though right now is the Harlem and Black Rose double feature Kickstarter. It is available right now. We are fully funded. Harlem is drawn by myself, written by Danny Quick. And, you know, you should pick it up. We've reached $7,000 on the Kickstarter. We are going for $8,000 next. Right now at the 7,000 mark, we unlocked a feature where you can buy original artwork by myself for the Black Rose Kickstarter, which you can see right here. I drew all this. This was inked by Lori Fisher and colored by, who is the colorist on this? I don't know. It's Danny and Veronica Smith did the color. Here's another page of my beautiful artwork. But you'll be able to buy the original artwork from the Black Rose Kickstarter. And then you can also get the Harlem Kickstarter book with this. So go back, go look up Harlem and Black Rose on Kickstarter today. Get the books. Because if we reach 8,000, which I think right now we're like 7,000, a little bit, 7,069. My understanding is once we reach 8,000, Morgan Iverson, who is the creator of Harlem, is going to get a tattoo, which I think that's great. I want to see Morgan get a tattoo. My understanding, he might get it live, so that would be fun. So again, go to the Kickstarter. We got 14 days to go. We've already killed it pretty much, but we want to do better. We want to get more books out, and we want Morgan to get a tattoo. But enough of that. We're not here for me. We're not here for Harlem. We're not here for Black Rose. We are here though for the man, the myth, the legend that is Fish Lee. We're going to talk about his book, KAAW.
What is up, man? You did a good job on that, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show, dude.
Absolutely, man. This is one of my favorite shows. I try to tune in every Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. The problem is sometimes after like 5-Star Fridays and everything, when I wake up the next day, I forget that it's Saturday and I think it's Monday and I go right into working and, then I get the notification that, oh man, it was on and I missed it, but I try to get in every week.
I mean, you do have a lot of shows going on. Like you mentioned, you have 5-Star Fridays. You have your own live stream, Mr. Fish's School.
It's School of Fish.
School of Fish. So I can understand where you're getting confused with everything.
Oh man, I'm co-hosting on like Unlikely Hero Studios half the time. Like when Lori can't come in, I'm everybody's favorite co-host. I'm here when Danny's not. So I'm just
saying, doing sexy lingerie poses or something. Photo shoots.
I love Lori. That made me uncomfortable because that's like seeing your sister in her drawers, and I just like. Put some clothes. I know she's making money. I know she's out there making money. I respect her, but like the father in me is like, Put some clothes on, girl.
Yeah. So when can we expect a Mr. Fish lingerie shoot? Just asking.
Well,
At what
I
level do
just
we need?
launched the Kickstarter for KAAW. I also just launched my own Patreon, where like half of my School of Fish episodes are for patrons only, and you can sign up there and get the comic book shipped straight to you instead of having to wait for a Kickstarter and all that stuff. And after all of that gets set up, then we're going to the OnlyFans, and then it's me rubbing Crisco on my belly and all that stuff. But we
Okay.
gotta get Patreon lined up.
Okay. All right. All right.
It's a
And
very small fan base that wants that, but they are a dedicated fan base, and I appreciate you.
I don't know if I signed up for that tier. I hope I didn't, honestly. I hope I didn't. I'm just saying. I mean, I love you, man. I love your work. I love your personality, but I don't want to see you lathered in Crisco.
No, there's only a handful of people to do. But
Okay. All right. Enough playing around. What are we here for, Fish? What are we talking about today?
Mostly the fact that Danny's not here. But after that,
all right. Well, I mean, yeah, Danny bro, dude. I woke up this morning with a bunch of messages from Morgan and Danny, and Morgan's like, "Hey, what time am I supposed to be on the show?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" And then I come to find out that Danny's at a convention, and he told me he'd be able to do it, and just from the convention. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I find out he's not here. So Danny, you suck, man. just saying, you suck at this.
Love you, but you kind of suck a little bit. I was so looking forward to getting to hang out and talk with Danny too. Like, I love you. I get to talk to you all the time on like School of Fish and stuff, and you get to come in and stir up trouble in the comments, which makes it lots of fun.
No, I never stir
up trouble. No, not my Kyron. No.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, we are also here to talk about the Mighty KAAW The Crowmagnon, rocking the awesome swag that I got yesterday.
Okay. I'll be honest, I just realized that that's what that shirt was. I've been staring at the shirt,
man. It's got all kinds of the comic book pages on it, but then it's got the big image of him flying in, and it goes over the wings and the whole 9 yard over the arms, and man, it came out cool.
So what is KAAW? What's it about? What's the premise of the story?
KAAW is a winged barbarian, the savage from beyond the stars. He is a Crowmagnon, CROW magnet. He comes from Zion, the avian homeworld, and in their galaxy, the avian empire controls most of the galaxy, and they're evolved from all kinds of different bird species. And there's like the raptor clan and the noble owl tribe, and like all kinds of other subclasses that are evolved from different types of birds. And the Angelic Council is the most technologically advanced group in this galaxy, and they're the ruling class on Zion, and they keep a firm control over everything, and they keep the Cro-Magnons as slaves. They think they're too dangerous and too savage to be left to their own devices, so they have their wings bound, and they are kept as slaves, and they have to do all the hard work, and from cleaning the reactors to scrubbing the floors. And if you're not smart enough to do that work, or you're too hard to handle or too savage, you get thrown into the arena to fight and die for the entertainment of the masses. And KAAW got thrown into the arena as a fledgling, and he has been there ever since, and became the mightiest, deadliest warrior in the galaxy doing it. Accidentally leads a slave rebellion against everybody else on the planet, and then hilarity and hijinks ensue, and that's the rest of the book.
Okay.
But I don't want to give too much away, because it's an awesome book, and I will give too much away.
No, go ahead. Please go ahead. I know Danny's not here, but we would love any spoilers you want to drop on us. That's fine.
I will tell you, that scene right there that you're showing, with him covered in all that getup, the scene right before it when he escapes, and the next 2 kills are my favorite thing I've written in my life. They are my favorite thing I've written so far. Okay. So I'll tell you that much.
So just so we can clarify, you are the writer and artist on this book?
Yep.
Colorist too?
Oh yeah, I did everything. I still hire Shanqui for the color flats, and Lori Foster is my editor because only a fool edits himself. And
Did you just call me a fool?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And everything else I did myself, except for that cover B. Lee Gaston did that cover, and I freaking love it. It is honestly, it's my favorite cover, and I didn't even draw it, but I love his stuff.
Now, I would assume that if someone is a fan of maybe Conan, He-Man, that kind of genre, they'd be down for this.
Oh yeah, Conan, He-Man, Thundar the Barbarian, Thundercats, Flash Gordon, like all of that stuff. This book is definitely like on the shorter side, and I'm going more for like the old school Flash Gordon serials like that would play before movies, and it's just action packed, quick to the point. In our last episode, you saw our mighty hero, and then wham bam, slaying monsters, saving princesses, and then oh no, cliffhanger, will we survive? Find out next time. Like very quick and action packed, because I want it to be a book that I can get out to you very quickly at a very affordable price, and not have to charge like $20 an issue on the Kickstarter just to get it made. I want to keep it down low and get it out quickly and get them coming to your hot little hands as often as I can. I could honestly, like, if I can get enough backers moved over to my Patreon instead of having to stop to run a Kickstarter every so often, because you've run Kickstarters, you know how much it takes out of you. And,
Mhm.
Especially being a neurodivergent artist and having Tourette syndrome and all this other stuff going on, it's basically the only thing I can do right now while we're running the Kickstarter. And because I'm constantly pitching and making new posts and thinking of how can I get it out in front of more people and doing interviews, and then I don't have time to make books. I could have made 2 more issues of KAAW in the time it's taken me to set up the Kickstarter and run it. Like I could have had 2 more issues out. And so I'm hoping to move over to Patreon supporters, and then I can just send you a book every month and, cut out the middleman. So
All right,
that's
so
where I'm headed.
everybody go to Patreon, subscribe.
Mr. Fish
Besides
Comics.
besides getting Fish some books, we can also see him lather than Crisco if everybody does
No,
Patreon.
that's going to be OnlyFans. That's not
Oh,
going
my
to be.
bad.
That's going to be on. That's a
My
whole
bad.
separate thing.
Okay.
Got to hone in on your demographic. But we do have the live Mr. Fish School of Fish art stream coming there, and like the people that were hanging out on my art stream, like one of the pages in this, like I did while we were working on the show, and we were talking back and forth, and stuff ended up in the page, like dude picking a bug out of his hair and eating it. Like we were talking about how all these little things that you can add in, like a sentence here or there or something in the background, can make the world so much more complex and interesting. And as we were talking about ideas, we stumbled on that idea. It's in the book because we were talking about it on School of Fish. So like you could sign up for just $3 a month, being on that art stream. You could give me an idea that ends up in the book that's in print forever. Like that's a heck of a deal. I'm just saying.
So it sounds like the School of Fish live stream is a little chaotic at times. I mean, is
It
that safe
can
to
be.
say?
It can be. Like there have been instances where, like an unruly commenter or, troublemaker, if you will, might jump in the comments and like, start off a conversation. And the next thing you know, the whole show goes off the rails. It's been known to happen.
What? Sarah, isn't it? It's Sarah. It's always
Oh,
Sarah.
absolutely. It's
Always
either
Sarah.
Sarah or Katie every time. Troublemaking
that's true.
Katie out there saving the world and planting trees and
TMK, troublemaking Katie.
oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Wouldn't be Kyron. No.
Hell no, dude. I don't. I never start anything.
Oh man.
I never start nothing I can't finish. So that's my motto.
For those that don't know, one of the episodes of School of Fish was the most chaotic, cathartic mess I have ever seen in my life. And we just started off talking, and like Kyron starts in asking questions about daylight savings time and just keeps picking, and I got on a soapbox about like, how the government's like trying to the people in power are trying to keep you looking over here so that you don't see what they're doing over here. And next thing you know, we're talking about institutionalized racism and sexism and all kinds of different things. But it was a heck of a show. And like I said, I think it was really cathartic for everybody there that day.
Yeah, just daylight savings time to me is annoying, especially because here in California we voted to end it and we still do it. Like we literally voted and it approved by like 70% or something like that. It was a huge
Isn't
amount,
that something? Yeah.
but we still have been doing it for the past 6 years since we voted. I'm like, what the hell are we doing this for? And they always tell us, oh, it's for the farmers or some of the BS. I'm like, you don't even know why we do daylight savings time anymore, do you? Nobody really knows. It's a conspiracy. It is. It is. All right. Sorry, you see, this is what happens. You give me on daylight savings time, I get confused and I get distracted.
It's a hot button topic. It gets stuff started absolutely every time.
All right, let's revert back. You've been doing comics for 5 years now, which is crazy that it's only been 5 years. It feels like the amount of books that you've done, you should have been doing this for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I'm working on my 66th book right now in 5 years.
Wow. How many of those books are all yours and how many are books from other people?
Most of them are books for other people. Like my first one was for me, T-Man and Hyperstrike. I've put out 4 issues through FSK, 3 issues of Green Zone and a source book for Green Zone, and now the Mighty KAAW. So that is 4, 5, 6 of my own. Everything else has been for other people, and and I love it. I've helped raise like right at $100,000 now over the last 5 years for my clients and stuff, which feels amazing to do that. But also, like, no shade to them, but I've been helping build their fan base. I need to start building my fan base because I have a whole lot of stories that I want to tell, and I can't do that if I'm doing everybody else's stories all day. So
does that mean that you won't be doing other people's work then? Is this you're focusing just on your own stuff?
I would like to get my goal is to be doing primarily all my own stuff by the end of this year. It was my goal last year, but delays happened and things come up and we couldn't get out the number of books I wanted to get out last year. But hopefully by the end of this year, I'm doing like Call on Green Zone full time, paying my bills with that, and then I can pick and choose which books I want to work on and not have to take every book that comes along so that I can pay next month's rent, but be able to take on the projects that I really want to take on and that I really enjoy. And which a lot of the books I've been working on I really enjoy, but it would be nice to be able to pick those things rather than just have to because bills.
Now you're Mr. Indie at this point. But your style is very quick. You're fast enough to work for a Marvel or DC. Are you submitting your work to any companies, Boom Studios, nothing? Nobody?
No, my end goal is to tell my own stories. Like that is my dream. My childhood dream was to work in indie comics, period. Like
what kind of childhood dream is that?
That's what I wanted to do. Like I didn't want to do Spider-Man and Superman. Like I wanted to tell my own stories. And indie comics was where all the weird stuff happened, like Grendel and Judge Dredd and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So like I studied black and white and grayscale and halftones and all this stuff my whole life because that's what indie comics were and that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. And then all of a sudden everything goes digital and all the comics are in color and now I have to learn color theory and how to do all this. It still amazes me to this day, 66 books in, that anybody pays me to color a comic. I still feel like I'm just pretending and working my way through it, and eventually they're going to find out and they're going to take the money back. But I've got like pros now hitting me up and asking me for advice on coloring, and I'm like, I could tell you what I know, but like I still kind of feel like I'm cheating.
Yeah, but I mean I think that's a lot of us. I mean, a lot of us just are going along as the best we can. We're making up as we go a lot of times, and we're trying to learn from the mistakes that we made from the past book. And I mean I think that's life though, isn't it? For most people?
Oh yeah. And and we're constantly improving, and I'm constantly striving and trying to learn new things. Like I'm watching other people's art streams to try and pick up new tips and tricks as often as I can. I'm always trying to, study new books on drawing and drawing from life to try and pick up new bits of like, oh, his nose does a weird thing. I'm going to add that to my mental clip art. And oh, look at her double jowls. I'm going to put that in my clip art and, use that for somebody down the road. And we're constantly trying to improve, and I can go back and look at the first books I did and I love them. And also I'm kind of like, ugh, could have done that better. And like I'm not going to point out which one it is, but I have a cover on the wall behind me that I hate. And the variant cover for that book was so much better. And I leave that book on the wall so that it reminds me, and I have to look at it all the time, that I need to put more work into the covers and I can't just burn through it quickly. Like I can't treat it like any other page, and it's just, like we need to get it out. Like I need to take the time to give it a second look and give it a second pass and make sure that everything's right. Because I wish I could go back to that cover and like change that chin and change that hand, but I can't because it's done.
Mhm.
So I leave it on the wall to remind me.
I think I know which cover it is. I think I know. I don't. I don't know. I'm just being a jerk. I'm
My
just
lips are sealed. I'm not saying because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but and it's not bad. It's just I could have done better, and
okay.
so I remember it.
Do you find yourself as an artist or as a writer uh, disliking your older stuff more?
I'm honestly, I'm probably more critical about the writing, really,
Yeah.
than I am about the artwork. Like, I look at the artwork and I'm like, oh, well, I could have done that better, or I didn't know how to do this yet, or I didn't know that that technique looked so, amateurish at the time, but it was a huge leap in what I could do at the time. But yeah, my writing I'm much more critical of because I'm like, if I had changed that or split this up and moved it, this would have had more power and more impact and that kind of stuff. I wish I could have another crack at.
Okay. I like the honest answer. So going back to this idea of you being a comic book artist for 5 years, only 5 years now, doing
I mean,
66 books. What were you doing before those 5 years with your art?
I've been an artist my whole life. I've been making a living off of my art since like junior high, and so
Were you
like
selling naked photos like I was in junior high with your artwork? Is that what you were doing? Because that's what I was doing.
I will say I started doing pictures of people's D&D characters and portraits of guys' girlfriends so that they could give them to them, as a present and,
Oh,
try and get lucky. Uh, I'm not commenting on other things that I may have drawn also, but
hmm
yeah, but so like I designed a logo for Georgia Pacific for one of their like inner office agency things, like, in high school. I've done all kinds of different stuff from working in t-shirts and signs and like I sculpted and painted like 45 fiberglass polar bears that went all over the country in Dixie cafes. I've done all kinds of weird stuff from like sculpting people's golden retrievers for Christmas presents to painting giant murals on the side of buildings and stuff. Um, Murals actually became a big part of my business for a long time there. Uh, I've done all kinds of stuff. Like I used to make my freelance business used to pretty much be doing logos and then like, band posters and CD covers and murals and stuff like that for a long time. And then my Tourette syndrome, which I still wasn't diagnosed with at the time, I just had some weird quirks, uh, got so severe that I ended up in a wheelchair and I couldn't walk, talk, or see for 15 years. And it was incredibly brutal. And then,
I'm sorry. You can't just glaze over that. And I apologize if this is like traumatic, but you said walk, talk, or see for 15 years?
yeah, it's I have a very severe case of Tourette syndrome, and I usually don't lead with I have Tourette syndrome when I explain it to people, because people are like, oh, that's the cussing disease. I saw Deuce Bigelow, and they shut down and they don't listen anymore. I
Mm,
usually explain that I have a neurological condition, and if you think of your nervous system like a computer, the insulation on the wiring in my brain is thin, so you get a lot of cross signals, and something that was supposed to go this way may shoot out this way. Something that was supposed to be a thought or a subconscious thought might shoot out your mouth. You don't realize how little control you have over the words you say. You think it and it comes out. You don't
mm,
think through the words as you're saying them. You just think, hey, Kyron, and it comes out your mouth.
okay.
Um, which you notice when you like the wrong thing shoot out your mouth and you say every kid's name except for the one you're talking to. Like, you notice it then. For me, random stuff can shoot out, random signals can happen. I would shake so violently constantly that I couldn't walk without crutches. And then it got to where I couldn't even stay up on crutches anymore. So I had to get a wheelchair. Uh,
Oh,
my
geez.
eyes will clamp shut on me and not open. My jaw will lock shut on me and I can't get it open to talk through it. That's actually why I lost that tooth in the back, because I kept cracking my teeth from my teeth being clamped so hard. And, I'll chip off pieces fairly regularly. And then one of them just shattered. And, that was a lot of fun. Uh, that kind of stuff, that became my everyday for a long time. And I would be shaking so violently that I couldn't get out of bed. Or if we could get me into the wheelchair, like I couldn't do anything else. But if I could work one hand, in a little twisted up gnarl, I could work my little joystick and get around. Um, that's actually part of the reason you'll notice when I'm on all of these shows, I tend to go from like, sitting way back to sitting way forward, because I'm in constant pain and I have to shift how I'm sitting to ease the pain for a minute until I get in total agony again, and then I shift to a different position. Um, but eventually, we got the right mix of meds. We tried some alternative treatments. I've tried all kinds of weird treatments. Like, I've got permanent nerve damage in my leg from a series of injections I got in my neck and back every 2 weeks for years. And
Mm,
it deadened the nerves in my legs. So, like, I need help getting up a curb now. But it also stopped a lot of the major leg ticks, which would throw me on the ground, because when your legs just yank up in the air, that's
yeah.
400 pounds of fish falling on the ground. That's a lot. And so life was pretty brutal for a long time. That's actually how my T-Man and Hyperstrike comic book about the superhero with Tourette syndrome happened. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't even communicate with my kids most of the time in the same room. I joked that my kids are fluent in grunt because so much of the time my jaw would be locked shut that they learned when they would know what that means, and they would get me a drink and they get me my blanket and whatnot. Uh, my kids grew up with me like that, which is I kind of hate, but it also has made them very generous, kind people with a heart of servitude. So I hate that they had to go through that, but I'm very grateful for the men it's made them into. Um, and so that was my life. Like, I was
Mm.
stuck like that. Maybe my ex-wife would feed me when she got home. Maybe she wouldn't if she was mad at me. Like, it was
Oh, dang.
brutal. Um, but if I could get one eye cracked open, and if I could get my thumb to working, I might not be able to communicate with anybody in the house, but I could get my phone up and I could communicate through that because I could reach all the buttons with one hand, with one thumb. So I started spending a lot of time on Facebook. I started spending a lot of time in Tourette's groups, and eventually I became like an online Tourette's advocate. And I would like counsel new parents when their kids got diagnosed and they're like, "Oh my God, my kid's life is over." And and they're like, he blinks and he sniffs and he swears every once in a while. He's never going to be able to have a life. And I'm sitting here locked in a wheelchair with one thumb working on. Your kid's going to be fine. Your
Yeah.
kid's going to be awesome. They're going to be super smart. They're going to be super creative. They're going to be great at sports and music and all kinds of other things. And yeah, they
Mhm.
might tick a little bit, but I just like to think that's our bodies burning off all the extra awesomeness. And, you know, it's going to be okay. They might have to figure out a couple different ways to do some things, but they're going to be okay. And so I spent years doing that. And I met so many adults that like won't leave the house because of the way they were tortured as kids, that like they
Yeah,
won't go
fear.
grocery shopping because they're afraid everybody's going to line up and point at them and start chanting, that they're a freak. And so
That's sad.
I don't know how to fix that in an adult, but I thought if I could do something that would help some of those kids to realize and focus on the things that make us awesome and not focus on the things that stand out, and you know know that you're cool and stand up for yourself before the world beats you down. And so I made T-Man and Hyperstrike, and that was freaking awesome. The results I got from around the world made me cry. And by this time, the treatments are helping a little bit more. I have learned better how to work with it and like move with the ocean and not try and fight against the waves. And so like I surf the waves of the Tourette's, and when I tick, I let it come out and I don't fight it, because if I fight it, then it builds up, and next thing you know, I'm thrashing on the ground and I can't move and I can't see. Um, so I've gotten more comfortable with letting myself yell stuff out if I'm in a restaurant or whatever, because I've got to let it out or else I'm not going to be able to make it to the car.
Yeah.
And then when my ex left and she took all of the stress and anxiety and abuse and stuff with her, suddenly life got a whole lot easier. And I
Yeah.
learned if I could sleep through the night without somebody torturing me, my ticks are better. If I get to eat every day and stay nourished, my ticks
Say
are better.
what?
And oh man, there's times
Crazy.
she wouldn't feed me for like 3 days if she was mad at me. Like if my ticks got
sad,
so
dude.
bad that I embarrassed her at a family function, that's it. Only thing I'm getting to eat is the honey bun and the soda my kids were trained to bring me for breakfast so I could take my pills, and that would be it for the day.
Wow.
Um,
That must have been rough on you, dude. So much.
it was really bad. And now life is better. Life is easier. I can manage my ticks better. I mean, I still have them. Like I had to hold on to my wife to get out of the restaurant last night because it was so noisy and stuff, and I was ticking pretty bad by the end of it. But I got to go out to a restaurant and I got to eat dinner with my kids and I got to have fun and talk and tell stories, and I get to get on art streams twice a week and tell funny stories and have a big time. And I'm getting to live out my childhood dream now, making comics. Like when this got better, I had to learn I had to find a new way to make a living, and nobody will hire me because they don't want to hire the guy that might not be able to drive to work today or can't talk on the phone today. So nobody wanted to take a chance on me, as talented as I am. But I can sit in my recliner and I can make comics all day and I can talk to clients on Messenger, whether I can speak or not, it doesn't matter. As long as one eye will open and my right hand will work, I can keep working, which is pretty awesome for me.
Yeah.
And so I can just keep knocking out pages all day and making everybody happy. And that's awesome.
I'm just noticing this with T-Max. I read T-Man. I've read Green Zone. I haven't read KAAW, of course. But I'm noticing a lot of your stories have this underlying idea of outsiderism. Not being normal, the quote unquote normal, and
Yeah.
having to work through that society of acceptance. That's actually. I mean, that's pretty cool. That you have this.
You're about to make me cry on camera that you noticed that, because like you're the first person that's ever brought that up, that they've actually noticed that. And that, like I said, I'm getting emotional over here, Kyra. You really touched me here.
I'm probably not the first person to notice. I'm just first person to bring it up to you. I'm pretty
absolutely sure. But yeah, I mean, everybody in Green Zone is me in some way. Like Virgil is absolutely what it feels like to be treated as a big scary monster when you're not, but that's what everybody sees on the outside. Got me emotional. I will cry on you. Don't think I won't. I'll keep going. I ain't hung up about it. You may not know also that I am a licensed and ordained preacher, and I bawl every time I preach. So I ain't hung up about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's what it feels like to be big and scary when you're not. Bellamy is absolutely what it feels like to be afraid of hurting everybody around you, because like if I step on somebody's toe, I'm breaking it. Like I've lived my whole life being afraid of hurting everybody around me because I was always twice their size. Danny Kim is absolutely the masking side of me, and my autism and the facade that I keep up. That's all like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey, there he is. Good to see you. Oh, there's Kyron. There's my man. It's that part that the mask that I put on to ease interaction with all the normal people around me. I love you, Brad. Thank you.
Brad's all like, no crying. I will cry too. Dang it, dude. It's okay to cry, dude.
Absolutely.
It's okay to cry. Enjoy it. Sometimes
Absolutely.
you need to cry,
Mhm.
especially when you have a good story like Green Zone is.
Oh, I guarantee you, I'm shooting for that in Green Zone. I am going to make you cry. Like my goal is not just to like make you cry when a character dies. I want to make you cry when that character cries. If I can do that, that is one of my big goals in life, to like actually make the readers cry because Virgil or Danny or Bellamy is so broken and crying and hurt. Like, I want you to weep with them. If I can do that, that's.
I'll let you know, if you kill off Virgil, I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm just saying right now. You kill
Don't
Virgil
worry.
off.
Virgil has 100 miles of just solid crap to have to go through in his life before
I'm gonna be there for all 100
before
miles.
he can get any relief like that.
I'm
So
gonna be there for all 100 miles, but at mile 101, if you kill him, it's over for you. That's all I'm saying.
But that's also the thing that I love about having my own book like Green Zone. Like, that's one of the reasons that I've never really had the drive to go work for like Marvel or DC, is I want the freedom to be able to do what's right for my story. And like, if killing Virgil or Danny or Bellamy or somebody, like if that is the right thing, I can do that. Like, if that's like, damn, that was the crescendo, I can do that, and I don't have to talk with 50 layers of marketing and executives and shareholders and all that stuff. Like, no. We got T-shirts coming. We got coloring books coming next fall. We can't do that. I don't have to worry about that. I can do what's right for the story, and I love
should
that.
Always be our first thing. Do what's right for the story, and then take care of everything after that. I mean, heroes always. Brad says heroes always come back from the dead, Kyron. Don't make a life-altering decision based on the character's death. Nope. We're doing this with Virgil. Anybody else is fine. You kill off Virgil.
Oh, yeah. Superman's going to come back. Spider-Man's going to come back because they got to, because they got a whole nother wave of pajamas coming out at Target. Like, we got to keep feeding the beast. Virgil don't have none of that mess. So he's got no executive safety net to protect him.
And then Marvel just killed off I don't want to say major, but pretty big character that people got just annoyed with. And I'm not surprised they killed her off, but I'm a little bit saddened that they did not give it. I don't feel like they gave her enough of a time to be something before they killed her off. I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm a little disappointed in Marvel on that one. But I think this is a good time for us to transition to everybody's favorite part of the show, which is Danny's quick takes. We know Danny's not here, but we're still going to do quick takes. And if you haven't watched our show before, Danny's quick takes is a semi-rapid fire timed session where Danny's going to give our guests 45 seconds to answer 5 different questions, 45 seconds for each question. So let's go ahead and get into that. If I can.
Quick takes.
And yeah, I should always also mention that the quick takes music was produced and created by a friend of the show, Dan Bethel, from Long John webcomic, soon to come out on FX as a cartoon series.
Oh, so, cool!
Thank you always to Dan Bethel for doing that. But as everybody sees, Danny's not here. But if you've watched our show enough, you know that when Danny's not here and he still wants to do quick takes, he has another way of getting those out. So let's see how he's doing that.
Call! Mr. Fishley, what's happening? Now, I wasn't going to let this episode of Foretells Podcast go by and not pop in for some quick takes. Come on now, you know me better than that. So, question number 1. If you had to sacrifice all of your other IP so that one could be successful, which ones would you give up and which one would you keep and why?
And apparently Danny forgot to adjust his screen to horizontal. But
that's not what he always looks like.
All right, go ahead.
Absolutely 100%. I would sacrifice KAAW, Green Zone, and everything else I have in the works right now for my Traveler story that I have been working on for 20 years. It is my baby. It is my passion project. I have literally been working on this for 20 years. Like 22 years ago, I tried self-publishing it and it failed. And I'm glad, because I was a child and I filled it full of nastiness and vulgarity and bad words and nudity and trying to show how grown up I was. And then I grew up and realized grown-ups don't really do that. But I'm glad that's not out there with my name on it. But that story of this time-traveling, also barbarian, that can go through time and space and different dimensions is the story that I want to tell more than anything.
Okay. All right. Question 2. Hopefully I did this right. Stop playing.
Uh-oh.
What the hell?
Question number 2. All right, Fish. I know that I've seen you on all sorts of other shows promoting your comics and drawing live on your tablets and live and everything. But I want to know, what's better, in-person events or online events?
Oh, that is tough. I love in-person events because I love interacting with people. I love the carnival barker aspect of being at a show and like, hey, you look like you need a caricature drawn, and that kind of stuff. Like, hey, you like comic book? Come over here and check out mine. I enjoy that part of it. I like all the different interactions. I like having to think on my feet. But I also love these kind of things because it's a controlled environment. I can be in a much more comfortable chair. I can be working in my pajama pants. Like, I can do all the things that I need to for my self-care, for my nervous system, and be able to do more for longer than I can at an in-person event. Like, you can see I'm in pain at an in-person event, and that's kind of hard to hide. So I love them both, but this wins.
Okay. All right. I just like online events because I don't have to wear pants, which I don't think I wore a pair of pants for any of the episodes so far of the Four Tales podcast. So,
oh man, my pajama pants are my official work uniform. Like, I have a whole selection of superhero pants to wear for, while I'm working.
There you go. All right, question 3.
Or is it?
Question number 3. Now we know there's all type of things that it takes for comic books to be successful, okay? But I want to know, what's more important for indie comics? For them to be relevant, for everybody to know who they are, or for it to be impactful to the people that read it?
Oh man, that's a really good question, because being relevant and more people knowing who you are and stuff, that could get you a lot more sales. But being impactful, like really making an impact on your small audience, is what's going to keep them coming back for every issue. So that's what I'm shooting for. I would love it if everybody in the world got a hold of KAAW and fell in love with it. But if the people that do love it keep coming back, that's what's going to build my business. And that's what I'm hoping for.
All right. All right. Mattersource Studio says, hello. What's going on, Mattersource?
What is that?
Red, put some drawers on, for crying out loud. I have drawers on. That's
I got pajama pants on. They just, they're comfy pants. They ain't jeans.
All right. Let's do this one.
Question number 4. All right. We all know that we love the freedom that comes with making our own comic books. There's a lot of things to love about being indie, but I also like to feed my family. So my question to you is, which one do you prefer? The indie freedom or corporate consistency?
I feel like we've answered this question a bit during our show already, but go ahead.
For me, it would be the indie consistency. I could pay my bills full time and feed my kids full time just drawing other people's books. And I'm still working indie. I'm still working on awesome stuff like the Sentinels and the Power Company and Steel Wolf and 5 Star. Like, I can do that all day and pay my bills. And with the way I set up my payments, like, if I kept doing that, usually by December, I've got almost the whole next year's work lined up, ready to go, paid for, just waiting for me to do it, which is awesome. But I really prefer the freedom of being able to do my own stuff. So I'm trying to move over to doing more of it, but it's still indie. Corporate's tough. I know a lot of people that have been waiting 90 days to get paid for stuff from Marvel and DC.
Okay. All right. Oh, shoot. We got one more question here.
Last but not least, question number 5. So I saw on Freestyle Fridays that y'all used to do a roll the dice thing where you would pick a superpower and all kinds of things to make up a character. So I want to know your top 5 superpowers, the top 5 best superpowers.
I love how there is like, I don't know if he was filming that right next to his car as it was warming up, but I love that.
Man, hold on, I got a big old pop up over here.
Yeah, it's popping up for me too.
Favorite superpowers? I mean, personally, I love teleportation. I don't really care for flight all that much. Like,
That
I
seems
mean,
like
it's
the worst power, honestly.
yeah, and you got to have so many other powers for that to work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're going to give me flight and super strength and invulnerability and, you know, super fast reflexes and super speed, then yeah, I would just take all that and be Superman.
Okay, you're wasting time. You only got 10 seconds now.
Well, I'm saying, like, if I'm going to pick 5, I would basically pick those and be Superman, but they're not my favorite. But they'd be effective in all kinds of situations.
All right, so you just want to be Superman.
Well, I mean, that's the easy way to go. Yeah. I like a character that has weirder powers and has to figure it out, which is part of the thing I like about rolling up random characters. Because when you just get random crap, like one time I rolled up multiple limbs, sound manipulation, and something else, and I ended up with this 4-armed character, Racket, who's like an enforcer for her cousin's gang in Green Zone, and she's deaf and uses her hands to like feel sound waves and stuff, and she can manipulate sound like a sound bender from Avatar might would. And it's been so much fun to use her and think of interesting ways for her to use her powers. And like in one point in Green Zone issue 2, like she pinpoints where a dude is that's hiding in a pocket dimension because she can hear his girlfriend talking, and you know, and then communicates to other people like where they are so that they can, you know, get. Oh, I love her, and she's so random, but she's so cool, and I wouldn't have gotten that if it hadn't have been for the random roll. So I love weird powers.
All right. Well, that was Danny's Quick Takes. This time brought to you by Crystal Geyser Water. You can get the 16.9 full ounces at your local store. I don't know. I don't do
Milk
this normally.
from straight crystals.
Hey, Crystal Geyser, if you want to sponsor us, you can reach us, you know, at fourtailspodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to us, please. This has been fun, dude.
It absolutely have.
I'm sorry it was just me. I know I'm not the best host.
Oh man, I love hanging out with Kyron. Kyron's the best.
I appreciate it.
And you're also a lot of fun to pick on too sometimes.
I've gotten a lot.
You know, we all like to pick on our elders, and you know, you got us all beat there.
This old joke is never going to end, is it?
No, it is never going to end. It is so much fun.
Anyways, this is our time to highlight you more. So we want everybody to go to your social media, your websites. Where can people check out your work?
Everything is Mr. Fish Comics. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I can't get no traction there to save my life. I'm on TikTok, MrFishComics.com. Mr. Fish Comics everywhere. Patreon is Mr. Fish Comics. If you want to sign up to get the art stream for $3 or for just $15, you can get books mailed out to you every month. So That's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to gomrfish.com and they'll take you right to the Kickstarter right now and back KAAW. And that's what I'm doing all day, every day until June 2nd when it ends on
And,
5-Star Fridays. And it's a
and you
short campaign, so you need to get out and back it now if you're going to.
and you're already backed. I mean, you're already funded. So are we
Yeah.
looking at any type of stretch goals or anything like that? Or
Oh yeah, I gotta figure it out, make a post about it, but I want to put a KAAW source book together and show a lot of the characters that are going to be coming down the road, and show more about his home world, and show like the very first drawing that I did of KAAW when I woke up out of a nap with this idea in my head, burning a hole in it, and that was like
that's when
40
was
something
that the
days
same day
ago.
you asked me if this was racist to do it?
Yeah, that was the very same day that I did. Absolutely.
All right. All right. All right. And if this is if you want to check out my books, you can go to tauruscomics.com, buy all my books there, Saw the Lightning Wielder, Shaman's Destiny, Ruby from Planet Oz, and Starcore. And maybe if you want to check me out on social media, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Taurus Comics. But if this is your first time checking out the Four Tails podcast, you can go back to our website, which is fourtailspodcast.com, the number 4, TALES podcast.com. You can listen to all our previous episodes, check them out, buy some merchandise, support us financially, because we don't get paid doing this, but we would like to somehow.
That would be nice.
But join us next week, where apparently Danny will be back. Who knows? With Danny, you never know. But we're going to have artist Lednito on the line. If you are part of the Agents of Geekdom Network, check out Unlikely Hero Studios, which you'll sometimes catch fish on, every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But until next time, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourself.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.